Welcome to the Digital Chatter video blog. I'm Wayne, and in this video, I'm going to be giving a step-by-step guide to adding a new email account to your desktop app. So in this video, I'm aiming at those who have attempted to add a new email account to their desktop app, and this setup failed. The ideal is that the app would be able to add the new account automatically once you've entered your email address and the password. And normally, that's all there is to it. But what are you to do if the automatic setup doesn't work? That's the question for this video. Once you know the essential steps, setting up a new email account can be fairly quick and easy. And with this guide, I'll take you through the steps to manually set up a new account in case the automatic setup doesn't work. I design websites for small organizations and businesses, and usually the client for whom I'm designing will want one or more email accounts using the domain of their website, such as myemail@mybusiness.com. And so I do this for the client as part of the website development. And I send them then this information for their new account, including a URL for the webmail, where they can send and receive email using their browser. But most would prefer to add this new account or accounts to their desktop app and receive and send email along with other accounts that they might have. So I assume you're watching this video because your attempt to add an account to your desktop email app didn't work automatically. Now you don't know what to do, so I would assume that the email account you're trying to add is not a Google Outlook or a more common account. Many desktop email apps are slanted toward common accounts such as Google. If your email uses your domain name, it is being served by a less common email server, and it may not fall smoothly into the protocol of your desktop app. This doesn't mean that it will not work, only that some additional steps may be required to add the data manually. So in the following examples, I'll use the Outlook desktop app, representing the more common apps, and then I use the Thunderbird app representing the less common apps. And between these two examples, it should cover most of the issues that you might encounter with whatever app that you are using. So here we are in Outlook. This is the free version of Outlook, not the full-blown version which comes with Microsoft Office. So I assume you have already attempted to add your email account and it failed to add automatically. So now we're going to try to add it manually. So if you click to expand this, and then click on Accounts, this will open a menu on the right side, and you'll see listed other email accounts that you already have. And then come down to the bottom where it says Add Account. Let me just move myself out of the way here. Down here, you have Add Account. Click on that. It opens a window. And here you'll see a list of options. Now, this list illustrates what I'm saying about these more common email apps being slanted towards the more common email accounts. You see here you have the option to add an Outlook account, which could also include live.com, Hotmail, and MSN. Then here's Office 365, along with Exchange, Google, and Yahoo, as well as iCloud. And then you have left at the bottom Other Account, which includes POP and IMAP, and then Advanced Setup. Now, if you choose the Other Account, this will be sort of a semi-automatic, and it will give more accommodation to your non-common email servers. and it might work. And if you want to try it, you can do that, but I'm going to go straight to the advanced setup. All right, I have two options here. Exchange Active Sync, which we don't want. We want the regular internet email. So we click on this. Now we can begin entering information. So we start with our email address. In username. Now this is almost always also the email address. There might be exceptions to that, but I'm going to enter the email address once again. Then we need to add a password. Again, I'm pasting it in. We come to account name. This can be anything you want it to be. It's the way you want to identify it along with your other email accounts in this app. So I'll just say Reflections. All right. And when you send your email messages, what name do you want your message to be identified as coming from? That's what you put here. That's your choice. It's optional what you do here. So I'm just going to do the same thing. All right, now you enter your incoming email server. And in my case, that's going to be mail@bravehost.com. Okay, now what kind of an account do we want here? You have a choice here between POP3 and IMAP4. What's the difference? Well, with POP3, you're choosing to leave your mail on the online server, in the cloud, so to speak. And when you get mail, it will download your most recent mail, your unread mail, to your computer. Now you can choose later on in your account settings to periodically have email deleted from the online server. But it also can be a safe place if you don't want to lose it, to leave it on that server and just download. Understand, though, that your online server eventually is going to get pretty full. You may have to do some cleaning to get more space to receive more email. Then there's IMAP. This is my choice. IMAP synchronizes the email on the online server and the email on your computer. So if you receive new mail on the server, your computer will download that and bring your computer app up to speed, up to sync with the online server. If you delete it from your computer, it will also delete it from the server. It is simpler and it's cleaner as far as I'm concerned. All right, so your next option, outgoing SMTP email server. In my case, this is the same server name or host name. So I type it in. All right, now that could be different for yours. So how do you get your information? That will be a question to answer. Well, if you have created your own website, you are undoubtedly working from a dashboard with your website hosting service. So from your dashboard, you have a place, should have a place, to create new email accounts. And it will be in that same location that you should find the information you need to set up your email on your computer. So if you have not created your own website, then go to the person who did, or whoever created your email addresses for you, and get that information from them. Now we have remaining here 4 options that are by default already checked. And unless you have specific information to tell you otherwise, just leave these checked. The outgoing server does require authentication, which means it needs a password. Use the same username and password for sending mail. That's the outgoing server, and it requires authentication, and you're giving it permission to use the same username and password that you entered already. Okay. Number 3, require SSL for incoming mail. Yes. And the last one, require SSL. This is your security for outgoing mail. And yes, you do. So you leave it checked. Now we're ready to sign in. Now, I'm going to back up because I don't want this to work. So I can show you what happens if it doesn't work. So I'm going to just put an X in here. All right. So it should not work. So I'm going to click now sign in. And we see what happens here. It says it's creating an account. All done. Okay, now here's what should have happened. It should have created the new email account in your app. However, since I entered that wrong mail server, it is not likely that it connected with your online server. So we're now going to have to straighten that out. So here is given an option to get the Outlook app for your phone. We're going to skip that. All right, now then, we're going to go to this new account that we should be able to find. I'm going to close out that. All right. Here it is, Reflections. and it's there. Now notice there's nothing in it. That could be because I have no mail in that account, which in reality is true. But I need to test it and see if it is actually working. All right, so what I need to do is to send an email to another email account that I have, and I need then to send an email from that account back to this one to see if it's working in both directions. So I'm going to click on New Email, and I'm going to address it to my Gmail account. And the subject I'm going to give it is just test email, and just the message. All right, so I'm going to send. Now, I have that account in this app, so I just need to go to the account and see if I received any email. Now, it may take a minute, but so far I have not received an email. Meanwhile, I'm going to create an email to send back. So all right. Return test email. This is a return test. All right. And we will send that. All right. I still haven't received anything. So I'm going to go back to the Reflections site, and I've not received anything there. This tells me that the email, woohoo, look there, it did come. I had the correct incoming mail server, but an incorrect outgoing email server. Now, just to be sure, I'm going to go back to the Gmail account and see, and it's not there. Okay, so we want to go back and recheck. And this is why I entered the wrong information. I wanted you to see how to go back to recheck your new account. Okay, so I click on Accounts, I go back over here, down to Reflections, and it opens when I click on the account. Okay, I have a couple of options here to change the mailbox sync settings and to delete. I don't want to delete, I just got it set up. But here, I'm not really interested in syncing the settings, but I will need to click on this to go where I need to go. So we come clear down to the bottom. The top part has to do with the sync settings. And down here towards the bottom, it says Advanced Mailbox Settings. So I click on that, and I see that my incoming server setting is correct. That's why we received that email, but it didn't go. Now, notice the number next to it, 993. That is your port number. And so you want to be sure to check that with the information you got from your online server. Is the incoming mail server port 993? In my case, no. It should be 143. Right? And down here we have the outgoing. And of course, we know that our outgoing server is wrong, but also the port is wrong. Now, the app got these port numbers automatically. So you see what would happen if you had depended entirely on the automatic setup. In my case, the port number is 587. Now don't worry about that last number, just leave it. And of course, here are those last 4 items that are checked by default, and we will leave those. So now we click done, we save it, and now we're going to close out the right side menu. We're going to come down to our new account. It has the test email that we received. Now we need to send another test email and be sure that it's working. So we click this, we enter that Google address, and send email test. All right, and so we're going to send it. Now we need to go to that email account and see if we receive it. Okay, so we come down here to the email account, and here is an alert. If I click on that, it opens up a window, and I see here that the password is not present. So it has been removed for some reason. All right, we're going to save that. Okay, let's try our test once again. So we're going to do new mail. I'm going to send it to Gmail. All right, let's click on send. Okay, let's go up to our Google account. All right, we already have it. Send email test. All right, so we made it, and we went through some problems there, but that's good. You were able to see how I went about trying to correct those problems. For our next step-by-step demonstration, we're going to go to Thunderbird. All right, so here we are in Thunderbird. I have no email account set up in this. So we come down here, we're on the left side menu, we click the gear icon, it opens up a new window for us. we come down to account settings, and now we look at account actions, and we hit the down arrow to open the menu, and we have add mail account. So we click on that. Okay, it has picked up my name from the setup of the app. Now I need to enter the email address of the account I want to set up. And so here we go. And the password. And we have that. Now then, we have two options. It's really very simple. We can configure it manually, or we can continue and let it do automatically. I'm going to do both, actually, in this case. I'm going to click continue and just see what happens here. All right, so it has selected an IMAP setting for me, and I can look at the incoming server and compare it to my information, and that is correct. And the security it has selected is Start TLS, and that is correct. Now the outgoing server, the server name is correct, SMTP is correct, Start TLS is correct. And here's the username, which is my email address. Now I could select POP3, and if I did that, here's the information I would get. And all of that looks correct, but I'm going to stick with the IMAP. Now then, I'm going to click Done. And there's other kind of setup it would do, which has to do with calendar and address book and so forth. I'm just going to click Finish. And we now have an account, and I have the option to set it as the default account. I'm not worried about that right now. So I have one in the inbox, which was the test email that we worked with earlier. Now, I want to do the other option, so I'm going to delete this account. So we go back to the gear icon, account settings, account action, and here we're going to remove account. Okay, removal succeeded, and we no longer have that account. All right, so we no longer have any accounts. So we're again going down to our gear icon. We're going to click on account settings, account action. We're going to select add mail account. There's my name again. Let's enter the email address and the password. All right, now we're going to configure manually. All right, so incoming server. We need to be sure we're knowing which server we're talking about here. It has IMAP selected as a default. So I'm going to accept it. The host name, it's assuming that the host name will include the email address, and that is not correct. So it will be mail@bravehost. The port number for the incoming server will be 143. Connection security will do auto detect. Authentication method, auto detect. Now here we could select Start TLS. And if this fails, we'll want to come back and check. But we'll see if it can do the job. Username, there's my email address. Now we come down to the outgoing server, and again I need to change the host name, which is mail. Port is 587. Auto detect, connection security, auto detect authentication method, username, email address, and we're ready to just let it run a test. See what happens. Settings were found by probing the given server. So, looks good. I'm going to click Done. Account successfully created. So I'm going to go back to my inbox, and there we have that same email again. Now I could do a test and send a message. Here I'm going to click on write. I'm going to send it to that Google account. And all right, so I'm going to send. Okay, could check the sent folder, and it is listed there. Now notice we used IMAP, and it has synchronized all of the email that we sent from Outlook because it's syncing with the server, just as Outlook is syncing with the server. All right, let's go back to Outlook because that's where I have my Gmail account. Click on it, Gmail, sending test from Thunderbird. So it did come through. All right, so now you have demonstration with Outlook and demonstration with Thunderbird. So regardless of the desktop email app that you're using, all of the above information that we've been through to add the information manually must be correct. And if the app that you're using cannot supply this information automatically, then you must use whatever option you have available to enter the information manually. The main purpose of this demonstration is to show you how to find and use that option and what to do when you find it. Entering server information manually may seem rather daunting when you first are confronted with it, but by following the steps that I've shown you in this demonstration, you should be able to do it like a pro. If you follow these steps to add a new email account and are still unsuccessful, please ask questions in the comment section below. Let me know if you found any of these guidelines to be difficult to understand or confusing. Don't forget to smash the like button below, and I invite you to visit my website at digitalchowder.com for more articles to help with your home business needs. Thank you for joining me in this video. I'll see you in the next one.